The Edmonton Oilers are one of the most explosive teams in the NHL. Is this the year they go on a long playoff run? Brett Holden of Locked On Oilers is here to talk about their prospects next on the road to the Stanley Cup. Gil Martin here. The Locked On Road to the Stanley Cup continues as we welcome Brett Holden from Locked On Oilers to take stock of Edmonton's chances to make a deep postseason run. And Brett, welcome to the show. What is the biggest storyline for the Oilers as we get the playoffs underway?
We can talk Connor McDavid. We can talk Leon Draisaitl. We can talk the defense all you want, Gil. But the biggest story for the Edmonton Oilers heading into this playoffs is the goaltending. We all know that the Edmonton Oilers went into the season signing Jack Campbell to that 5x5 contract. And the Oilers, really everyone imagined that heading into right now that the first game of the NHL playoffs would be started by Jack Campbell. Well, that is not at all the case. It is Stuart Skinner, who has been not only a fantastic goaltender for the Oilers, winning games for the Edmonton Oilers, but he has also been an all-star in the Pacific Division, and we are still talking about Stuart Skinner as a potential Calder Trophy winner. Also, you want to talk about rookies who have won the Stanley Cup and a Calder Trophy? How about a good old Edmonton boy in Cam Talbot? Or not Cam Talbot, Cam Ward. We can all talk about Cam Talbot as well. But Stuart Skinner, an Edmonton boy, playing for the Edmonton Oilers, and the Edmonton Oilers have been absolutely backing Stuart Skinner since, the start of the season. So the player to watch, and really for the Edmonton Oilers to potentially win the Stanley Cup, that is all on Stuart Skinner.
And what is the biggest reason the Oilers will win the Cup this year?
It would all be, we all know, again, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid both had 33 points and 32 points, respectively, in the playoffs last year. But then there's a supporting cast. Zach Hyman had a career year for the Edmonton Oilers this year, and so did Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. But that doesn't just fall on those four players. We can talk about as well Evander Kane also coming back from that absolutely terrifying injury that he went through. The Edmonton Oilers have been having great contributions from Kyler Yamamoto, Warren Fogle, Ryan McLeod as well. And the Edmonton Oilers also added Nick Bukestad to that bottom six. For the Edmonton Oilers, their biggest thing will be that bottom six. So you pick, honestly, Gil, for the bottom six, because the Edmonton Oilers all have in their bottom six at least 10 goals from those players. And we talk about Fernando Pisani and who's going to be the next Fernando Pisani. Well, pick the bottom six, anyone from the bottom six for the Edmonton Oilers, and that is the next Fernando Pisani for the Oilers in these playoffs.
All right, but what would be the biggest reason the Oilers will not win the Stanley Cup this year?
That goes back again to the goaltending. The Oilers need the goaltending to win the Stanley Cup. And even we hear the cops right now, if it is not for the goaltending for the Edmonton Oilers, they are going to be locked up, and we are going to forget about me and this absolutely scandalous hair, because if it is not for the goaltending, the Edmonton Oilers will not win the Stanley Cup. It is a defensive game. We all talk about how the Oilers can outscore their problems, but that doesn't start with the defense. It starts with the offense, That starts with the defense. And the Edmonton Oilers defense and goaltending will not win the Stanley Cup for the Oilers.
All right, so you've talked about a few players, but give me one. The key player to watch for the Edmonton Oilers is?
Klim Kostin. Yes, I said it. I did say it. We can talk about how the fact that Connor McDavid is the best player in the NHL. We can talk about how Leon Draisaitl is the best supporting player in the NHL. And if you were to put him on any other team in the National Hockey League, he's going to be the best player of that team. We can talk about Darnell Nurse, who has been an absolute treat for the Edmonton Oilers, and Edmonton Oilers fans love to hate on him. Mattias Ekholm has been a great acquisition for the Oilers, and he has made Evan Bouchard better, and Stuart Skinner has been the absolute treat. But Klim Kostin will be the reason the Edmonton Oilers, or the player to watch for the Edmonton Oilers, because he is built for playoff hockey. He hits, he scores, he goes out in the dirty areas of the rink that nobody else goes into. And when the Edmonton Oilers go into the playoffs with a guy like Klim Kostin, as opposed to Jesse Puljujarvi, who we all know how Edmonton Oilers fans, the goals for and goals against between him and Puljujarvi. Oilers fans loved or hated Jesse Puljujarvi. But we go into this playoffs looking at Klim Kostin, who carries the puck, hits, is on there for defensive efforts, offensive efforts, every single different position for the Edmonton Oilers, and he is built for playoff hockey. It is all about Klim Kostin and that bottom six hockey for the Oilers.
All right, we'll see how he does in the postseason. What would a successful playoff run look like for the Oilers, and what's at stake if they fall short?
Honestly, we saw the Edmonton Oilers get to the Western Conference Finals last year, and that was at times when we head into the LA Kings series. I was not confident. We head into the Calgary Flames series last year, and we see, again, the Flames were a better team heading into that series, and now the Edmonton Oilers make it last year to the Western Conference Finals. We know this Edmonton Oilers team can get to the Western Conference Finals. Now, with a Connor McDavid, who has been putting up points and numbers that we haven't seen in 30 years. Gil, I am 26 years old. I have never seen numbers that we have seen right in front of our eyes, and it's all been because of Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. We go through. The Edmonton Oilers need to make the Stanley Cup Finals for it to be a successful playoffs, or else genuinely, as an Edmonton Oilers supporter, as a guy who covers the Edmonton Oilers for the last year and a half now, if the Edmonton Oilers do not make the Stanley Cup final, I am genuinely concerned about where Connor McDavid plays in about 4 or 5 years.
Wow. Okay. That's a big caveat right there. No question about it. Brett, thank you so much. That does it for our Oilers preview here on the Locked On Road to the Stanley Cup. Be sure to subscribe to or follow Locked On Oilers for free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. The Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.